Okay, this is the third of 4 recordings for Chapter 12. We're going to talk about research and development costs. So research and development costs are generally expensed. They don't create an intangible asset usually. Something the company develops often turn into patents or copyrights. But everything you do to get to the point where you've identified and are ready to produce the item that you've come up with, all those are expensed. So research and development costs are expensed when incurred. Companies spend a lot of money on research and development, so you can see here almost 20% of their sales is not that uncommon. So it's a big number. When you need to identify research and development activities, research activities are the planned search or investigation looking to create new knowledge. Development activities are translating the research findings into a plan or design for a new product or process or significant improvement of an existing one. So you need to be able to tell which is research and which is development. Accounting for research and developments. So all the costs, material, equipment, facilities, the personnel costs, the purchased intangibles, contract services, indirect costs, all of them get expensed as research and development. So here's an example. We're going to go through some different items. So investment in a subsidiary company would be a long-term investment. Timberland, that would be a natural resource in your property, plant, and equipment. Cost of engineering activity required to advance the design of the product to manufacturing stage is research and development expense. You don't get to capitalize anything until it's to the manufacturing stage. Lease prepayment, that's going to be prepaid rent. Cost of equipment paid would be property, plant, and equipment. Cost of searching for applications of new research findings would be R&D expense. Cost incurred in the formation of a corporation, you would expense that. Operating losses incurred, that's operating losses. Training cost incurred in a startup would be expensed. Purchase cost of a franchise creates a franchise account, which is an intangible. Goodwill generated internally is not recorded anywhere. And the cost of testing in search of product alternatives would be R&D expense. Goodwill acquired in the purchase of a business is goodwill, an intangible. Cost of developing a patent, that would be R&D expense. Cost of purchasing a patent would be an intangible account called patent. Legal costs incurred in securing a patent are part of the patent intangible account. Unrecovered cost of successful legal suit would become part of the intangible account for the patent. Cost of conceptual formulation of possible product alternatives would be R&D expense. Cost of purchasing a copyright gives you an intangible copyright. Research and development costs are expensed. Long-term receivables will be a long-term investment. Cost of developing a trademark is it's expense. And cost of purchasing a trademark is the intangible trademark. Startup costs, initial operating loss, advertising costs, computer software costs, all of these are expensed at the time the cost is incurred. All right, so this example, they want us to determine what the R&D expense would be. This first one, it should be $280,000. So we have equipment we acquired. It does have alternative uses in the future. So what we're going to do is basically take the depreciation for it. So we will take the amount divided by 5 years and expense to R&D $56,000. Materials consumed would be an R&D expense. Consulting fees paid to outsiders would be R&D expense. Personal costs are R&D expense. Indirect costs are R&D expense. Materials purchased for future would not be part of R&D expense until they're actually consumed.